Hey Wolfpack, and welcome back. I'm so excited to have you guys back. It was a great break, but I know we're ready to jump into the spring semester. Before we get started, I want to make sure and talk about a few things that are new or different here in the library. I'm going to start with Library to Go, and then want to talk to you guys about the sports section and how it's arranged now. Then we're going to talk about biographies and why they're gone, and then I want to talk to you guys about a few new things that are going to be coming about this semester. So let's get started. First, I want to talk about Library to Go. Remember, this is something that is available to all students, whether you are face-to-face or virtual. It's just done a little differently. The first thing anybody needs to do is go to bit.ly/Wolfpack Library. And this is where you guys can see what books I have and also check. This is where you can fill out your form in order to request the books. Now, if you go onto the Wolfpack, and when you go to that website, the bit.ly/Wolfpack Library, you will come to this website right here. Then you are going to click right here on Library to Go, or over here on the left. Once you click there, you have a couple of options. If you are a virtual student, this is your form. If you are a face-to-face student, this is your form. Now, if you're wondering if I have a specific book available, or if I even have the book, you can click here. Now, virtual students, once you go here, this is what yours will look like. And it will actually say Virtual Academy form, so you guys know that it's the right one. And then when you go to face-to-face, it'll actually say face-to-face. Now, you guys have seen this form before. Nothing has changed, just a different color, and it says January on it. But remember, if you are a virtual student, you do have to come to Trent to pick up those books. They are in the front foyer. On the right-hand side, when you come in, you'll see a cart, and it'll have a receipt with your name on it. If you are wanting to do Library to Go for face-to-face, remember, you will come into the library, you'll get an email from me. Both sides, you'll get an email from me saying they're ready. And when I have the books ready, I will email you saying, hey, come get them. Face-to-face students, you can come in the library, and right when you walk in, you'll see a bookshelf with numbers on it. I will tell you in the email what number you are, and that you will pull your books from there, and then you can walk back out. Now, keep in mind, for my face-to-face students, the library is open for you guys. This is not a requirement that you guys go to only do Library to Go. It's not the only option you have. You can come in and you can browse books all you want. In fact, we're kind of moving to a different system now, where you guys actually grade levels don't have specific days. If you are done with your work and your teacher allows it, come on in, check out some books. Remember, 5 at a time for 3 weeks at a time. Okay. One thing about our sports section is, although it is small, it is mighty. It is one of our most looked at sections, and it's a section that most kids want to go to at some point while they're at Trent. But one thing about sports is I have had a lot of places where you could find those books. You could find them in the fiction section, in the chapter book section. You could find them in biographies, or you could find them in the nonfiction, where we had that whole section 11 that was just sports books. Well, what I've decided to do is I've decided to combine all sports books as one section. No more looking in 3 different sections for sports books. They're all together. When I was doing this, what I noticed is there was a couple of specific sports that had a lot of books: baseball, basketball, football, and soccer. And those specific sports now each have their own section. And what you'll notice is that you'll have a section of a sign above it that'll say like basketball, and it will have a section that's all chapter books. So all 3 shelves under that are chapter books. But then right next to it, it'll say basketball, but it'll be my nonfiction area, where my nonfiction books are the first 2 rows, and then my biographies, my basketball biographies, are underneath that. And each section looks like that now. We've actually even made our sports section a little bit longer, to where it curves around, and so that all of our sports books are together and you can see them. They all have the brighter orange sticker on them, so you'll also see that. But I'm hoping that what this does is that brings your eye to a few sports books you didn't know I have. There's lots of baseball biographies and basketball biographies, but it also brought my attention to the fact that maybe I need to bring in some more sports biographies, because there's some really, really good ones out there. So that's one of my goals, is to start adding in a few more sports biographies for you guys. But I really come in and check that section out. It's so cool to see. And I know a lot of you guys saw this before break. I just hadn't had a chance to announce it yet. So I'm really excited about this. So I can't wait for y'all to see it. So you guys remember that across from the sports section, what used to be there was the biography section. Well, after reevaluating the biography section, looking at numbers, I decided to actually completely get rid of the biography section. Now, this does not mean I got rid of all the books. If you came in, you might have not noticed lots of stacks of books in different places. Some of these biographies are very out to date. They were written 10 to 15 years ago, and we all know that sometimes those books I just can't keep up with the times. um, I kind of make a joke that the Donald Trump book I have is with when he had brown hair, not white hair. So it's just kind of, I wanted to go through the books and look at them and make sure what we had was something that could apply to our student body and to our school. So what I went through and did is I went through and I pulled some of the books that are out of date and things that had never been touched in 6 years. But then the other ones, what I did is I put them in the sections that they applied to. So they are now all in the nonfiction section. So let's say you are looking for a book about a scientist. Well, now it's going to be in the 500s with that scientist. I have a book about Neil deGrasse. And so you can actually find that in the science section in the 523s, I believe, with all of the space stuff. And so that's what we've decided. That's what I did right before break is I went through and I did that to all of our nonfiction books. They're all now put where they are. If you want George Washington now or Abraham Lincoln or any of our presidents, it's now in the 970s. And so I really am looking to make this a little easier on you guys. You can still search them the same way. If you're looking for a book about George Washington, you can still search George Washington. It'll just go to a nonfiction section versus it taking you to biographies. My goal on this was just to really make this easier for everyone to find stuff that if you're looking for historical nonfiction books, that you're not having to look into sections just like you were. What this really did, a big section that's expanded, is the World War II area. I had a lot of World War II biographies that I think you guys will like the fact that all of that is now combined in one section in the 940.53 and 940.54. Those sections actually needed more room after all was said and done. And so it was really good to see all of that over there. Our art section grew, even our historical fiction, a lot of the, especially around the Abraham Lincoln area, during when the United States was changing so rapidly. There's a lot of great biographies in that section now. So if you have any trouble or need a specific book, you're more than welcome to come ask me. But here at Trent Library, there is no longer a biography section, but there is still biography books. So just be very careful with that. So here's just a few things that are coming up in the next little bit. It's not all of spring semester because, as you guys know, I sometimes throw things out there randomly, but this is what I do know is coming out. Something to look forward to. If you want to subscribe to my YouTube channel, it's just if you find me at Heather Lastly, it's through the school district. So it's all about books, library, research, all of that. I'm going to start doing a couple of videos a week talking about authors or books that are coming out. I'm going to try to do like new releases, especially on Tuesdays, because those are when for books, all books come out on Tuesdays. Therefore, it'd be really cool to see do some of that and really do some author focuses to have you guys see some really awesome authors that maybe you've never heard of or haven't been willing to try. I'm also working on maybe some new book series about just different things that are going to be coming out on YouTube, essentially is what that is. Something else in February, at the very beginning of February, the bookmark contest winners, their bookmarks will become available to all students. We had 10 amazing people win. It was so hard to choose, guys. There were so many of you guys who put in bookmarks for the contest, and thank you all for your entries. And the 10 winners, I could not be prouder of their work, and I cannot wait to put them in your hands. So be ready for those in February. Now, keep in mind, also coming up in actually April is going to be our contest for our poetry unit. This is going to be our, I want to say it's our 6th annual poetry contest. It might be 5th, I could be wrong. Always have amazing entries, but maybe get some of those creative juices flowing, and so that we can have some more entries. You'll have more information about that later. Keep in mind, there's always, Sora is always available to you guys. We're working on adding a lot more books to Sora now that we're back from the winter break, and So be looking on that. Remember, that is SORAAPP.com. Everyone has an account with Sora, and so it's really easy to do. It's great for if you get stuck at home, if you get quarantined and you can't go get books. This is an awesome option for you guys. I know a lot of y'all have been extremely frustrated with the amount of people and the books that you want are on hold, and I understand that. But kind of look through. There is books available, and there's some really good books available that are coming out. So I'm really excited for you guys to see what's coming out this spring, because publishers are putting out a lot of awesomeness. I want to say our first big set of books comes at the end of January. One of my personal favorites, A Curse So Dark and Lonely, the third book is coming out at the end of January, and I'm so excited to read it. So just be on the lookout for those videos if you're interested in joining. Make sure and subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you get updated when they're put out there. That is one of my goals of 2021, is to put more of a YouTube video out there for readers. So thank you guys. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, come by the library and chat with me. And y'all have a great start to your semester.